if you are living and breathing in America right now, you are a part of a generation that is the most spoiled and privileged that has ever lived in the face of the planet in all of human history. And what happens when you are actually remarkably privileged is that you start looking to complain, right? It's like when life gets really good is when you start complaining about really small things. Unimaginable battles that you're having today if you just have a conversation with your grandparents, right? And what they had to face growing up. That's always my litmus test when people ask me, oh my gosh, Candace, how do you deal with all the attacks, the media, people tweeting at you and saying mean stuff? I'm like, man, imagine if I had to say to my grandfather that the thing that was so tough was I opened the internet and someone said something mean to me. Like it's so ridiculous. We're ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I can just opt out. I don't need to be on Twitter. I don't need to be on Instagram. It's like granddad was living in the segregated South when he grew up, and I'm sad about a tweet. Like it doesn't work for me, right? It just doesn't work. And so the first thing to do is to recognize that all of us are tremendously privileged to even be having these debates, these abnormal debates that I genuinely believe sometimes are being driven out of a boredom. I think it's natural for every generation to want to believe that they have triumphed something, right? Like you're just sort of like, we are the generation that ended segregation. Yay, go 1960s. We are of a generation that protested and put an end to the Vietnam War. Yay, go 1970s. Then you get to now, and we're kind of doing okay, right? We're like, things are looking pretty good. And so people just need to complain about things, and that's when you get into like, well, what if I feel like I was born a fish, and there's no restaurants for fish, and there's no bathrooms for fish? I need a sign that says that fish can go here, right? Or else how else will I feel like I'm welcome into this unique stall? And that's where we're at. So we should stop taking ourselves seriously as like a human race. That's like my general perspective on everything that's going on. And it's interesting also to consider psychology because I was just tweeting about this because it's only until you are removed from the system, which is to say you guys are not yet outside of the system, right? We get kicked out of our parents' house, kindergarten, and then like suddenly you're in high school, you've got your friends, you get in the swing of things, and your guidance counselor's like, no, if you don't go to college, you're a failure, you're going to fail in life, right? You better sign up and take out a bunch of loans and something that you absolutely cannot afford, and you don't even understand these 3,000-page documents, especially if you're like me, and I'm a first-generation college kid. My mother didn't even graduate high school. So you imagine me signing up for loans. I had no idea what I was looking at. And you are willing to go into debt because there's this kind of pressure to just go to college, even though you have no idea what you want to do. You have no idea. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that I had to do the thing because the guidance counselors were telling you, like, you'd be a failure if you did it otherwise. And they sort of get into college, and you don't realize it yet, but you're getting an education, you're learning some things, but you're not getting a true understanding because a lot of these universities very much exist to tell you what to think and not how to think.